Welcome to Heroes First Podcast, sponsored by Fund the First, the nation's leading verified crowdfunding platform for first responders, military, and medical professionals. And now, your host, broadcasting from Long Island, New York, Robert Garland.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining this week's episode of Heroes First Podcast. Each week, you will hear from a new guest that portrays excellence in the first responder, military, or medical professional field. If you are an active or retired member of the service, or even a family member or friend, then this show is for you. I would like to now present you to our guest for episode 2 of this podcast series, Brandon Dutkiewicz. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hello, Robert. Thank you for having me on for the podcast and the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
And everything you've done in the community.
Thank you. Like
Fund the First is great. Like, it's amazing.
Thank you. It's growing. It's doing well for a lot of people. I mean, to give you a little background, I know you got on the platform with your mobile application and what you're doing with our military, and we'll get into that in a moment. But you got into it, I believe, with Fund the First early. What was it, August?
Oh, yes. Yeah. You guys contacted me, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool opportunity to try to get things for troops.
Yeah. So I think it was in August, but since then we have now over 100 campaigns. So in 6 months, over 100 campaigns, and we've raised over $800,000. So it's moving nicely. But your campaign is a special one, and the what you have to support our military is really nice, and I definitely want to hear some more about it. So why don't you jump into that and tell everybody about your mobile application, your website, and everything you're doing?
Okay, Robert. Yeah, I have a mobile application that allows troops to put wish list items if they're deployed overseas. They could put up items they need, usually like healthy products the store has, and then patriots can go and buy the items for them, and then they'll ship directly, and then the patriot is able to get a photo back of the troop with the item, saying a thank you message.
So what kind of things do you normally send when they donate money for items? What do you usually send the military members?
So we send them whatever they're requesting. So Think about it as like a Amazon wish list type idea. So a soldier, every person's not the same. Like, everybody has their own needs. And so a troop would use a lot of the items that we've been sending and have been getting requested for are like memory foam pillows, mattress covers for twin beds, vegan cookies, protein powders, like healthy products, and a lot of things for sleeping, like sleep masks. All the items on there are no more than $20 and as low as $6. So like if you had like $8 and you just wanted to send an item, you literally could go on the app and spend $8 and you could send a soldier an item, and that soldier will get the item within.
That's great. So how can people do this? Where could they go to download your mobile application, the website?
They would just go to they could go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and they could just press download. It's free. It costs
What's
nothing.
It called again? Is I support?
No, just support a troop. I have the name in the corner. Oh, I got t-shirt.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
So
support. Oh, it's a cool shirt. I like it. I like the flag on the side. It's nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Definitely a good touch. So how many people have you helped out so far with this platform that you have?
I think at least a few hundred.
Wow.
I've definitely sent out a lot of orders, but some troops get more than one order because troops could just put items when they want to, and but I just checked my analytics, and I think we've sent out over 1,000 orders since we started back in May of last year.
That's incredible. So that's 1,000 different people that have gotten photos and notes back from these troops overseas.
Maybe a lot of people come back. So I have people that come back a lot, and then they'll buy. So maybe like 400. We're still small. It's a startup.
Well, it's nice. I mean, recurring people is great. As long as someone's giving the help, it's really nice, and it's definitely comforting.
It's a beautiful feeling. Like, I love it. Like, it's just really nice to see because I get to see all of it. So it's really cool to be in the middle of something good that's happening.
Right. No, of course.
I bet, like, I'm sure you understand.
No, yeah. Listen,
Completely.
the give back feeling, you see money coming in and it's nice when people are receiving their donations and receiving the product, but it's actually that support that comes along with it. And it's
Yeah.
so nice. And it's a great feeling. And you know this. I mean, listen, you served in the military as well, right?
Yes, I did. I did 3.5 years. I was an infantryman. I was in the
Okay.
United States Army, and I came up with this idea when I was deployed, actually, because I come from a really low income background, like a single mom. I would go, I would call it can hunting. Me and my brothers would go out and we'd pick up cans on the street when we were young, like 8 to 12 years old, and we would use that money to help pay bills and food. And like, we were really poor. Like, and so, like, when I
Wow.
joined the Army, I didn't have that backing, like maybe a lot of like family backing, like a lot of people do, like where they'll get a care package every week. Like, my mom struggled to even send a letter. Like, one time she sent me letters, and she wrote letters for weeks and then sent them all at one time because that's what she could afford. So, like, that's what she did. It
Oh,
was nice though. I had a lot of letters to read. But I also struggle with dietary problems. So when I was overseas, I couldn't necessarily use the things a lot of organizations would send, because they kind of put everybody in like a one size fit all type of care packages where they just send in bulk, like candy and a lot of junk food. So necessarily I couldn't really use anything that they were sending. And then a lot of the items would get thrown out, like hundreds to thousands of dollars easily was being thrown out. And that was just on my deployment in my platoon. That wasn't other people's platoons and other people's deployment. Like, that was just mine that I saw. And
right.
there's like, I seen Connexes, there's just boxes that were donated that just didn't get used, because just like in any normal, like just on the average person, like if you're going to go away for a long time, people like usually make goals, and then their goals are usually like health and fitness goals, and then they try to like exceed their limits, and they want to come back looking better or healthier. So like, they don't necessarily want to eat candy and a lot of things like that. So I've made it so, like, instead of I made it so a soldier could go on, or a Marine or a Navy person, anybody who's in the military that's deployed, they could go on and they could just request the items that they specifically want. If it's a Vega protein powder bag, if it's just an energy drink, I don't know. Just
So how do you have them learning about your company? How do you have troops overseas? Is it mostly by word of mouth? Are you using social media a lot? What are you doing?
No, so I actually I came up with this idea when I was in college. I'm in college right now full time,
Where are you
but
going to
I was
school?
in college full time. I just got out of Army. I was actually facing like depression and stuff, and
Mm.
I was like I don't know, it wasn't good. Then I came up with my little brother joined the Army. I was helping him get in, and he got in because he was having some tough times. But I got him in the Army, and when he went in the Army, like, my mind just went back to those times, and I was just like, I don't want him to feel this way I felt when I was deployed. So if he ever got deployed, I just started thinking, like, I wonder if there's an organization out there that will help him specifically. Like, he'll want this, and then someone will like take their, help them out. So I went and looked it up, and there wasn't anything. And I was living in my car at the time, actually. Like, I was struggling. Like,
Wow.
so I went and I was just like, how are troops going to like know about this, like, this idea that I'm trying to do? So I actually tried messaging people on Facebook. Like, I just hashtag deployment, and like whoever popped up, I was just messaging like, hey, do you want free stuff? And I started a GoFundMe campaign so I could like get people the things they need. And, well, people wouldn't message me back because it's probably weird. Like, so I went overseas. I actually signed up for a contracting company, like a contracting gig, because I wanted to help. So I was just like, I'm just going to put myself overseas. And then when I was overseas, I would just word of mouth talk to anybody, like in the DFAC, anybody.
That's the best way of going about it.
I was,
Organic word of mouth.
yeah,
Sending text messages, emailing, and just talking to everybody you can.
yeah. So I actually just got back from Afghanistan. I was there for 16 months just as a contractor, just
Oh wow.
soldiers. And while I was building this, and I didn't have an app yet because I was in the process of building it. So while it was being built, I was sitting overseas. I had a small GoFundMe campaign, and I wish I knew about you guys at the time.
Listen, you got the Fund the First campaign up now, which is
Yeah.
great. We definitely we'll try to help you promote it a little bit more. But I mean, share that. The power of crowdfunding and these things, especially what you're doing. It's basically crowdfunding as well. What you're
It
doing
is, yes.
with your platform. It's the person that's requesting it has to share. And it's hard. I mean, this as military, myself as police. We don't want to ask for help. It's tough for us to ask for help, but when you're doing something good to give back to the community, people look at it and they feel for it and they're like, okay, this is something I can relate to. This is something that gives me an emotional connection and I'll donate to it. And the biggest thing is just asking, hey, listen, $5 goes a long way. I mean, what you're doing, people donate to your campaign on Fund the First, or if they come straight to your platform, which would be even better, going right to your platform, buying these people $5 worth of stuff. Now overseas they have, whatever they're requesting and it makes them feel good. It's not only about receiving that product. It's about that heartfelt feeling.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's I don't know. It just feels good to help.
It does. So tell me, what made you go into the military? Do you have it in your family?
No, I'm actually, so that was, yeah, I did there in my like no one's been in my college in my family, no one's been in the military in my family, no one's been in graduate high school in my family. I actually don't have anybody to ever look up to. That's one of my challenges and right now in life is that I'm kind of the first person doing everything I'm doing. So I kind of just look to the internet for everything.
That's
But
excellent. I mean, listen, doesn't hurt to ask for help too.
yeah.
Asking for guidance. I actually a big thing. Have you seen this new Clubhouse app? It's called
Oh.
Clubhouse. It's excellent, and I don't mean to promote it on my own podcast, but because it's someone else's app. But it's basically like these talk shows, and you go on there, and there's a lot of influential people, and there's people on there that you may necessarily never be able to connect with in your entire life. But there's these forums, and you could go in, you could listen to people speaking, and if you have a question, you raise your hand, and if they decide to let you speak and have a question based on what you're listening to, it's excellent. I think it's a great thing, and we do it on Sunday nights. So Sunday nights our team gets on and we chat. So having you
Oh,
jump in
wow.
there would be great. It's really nice. It's basically like an open radio show.
What's it
You
called?
know, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna look into that.
it's pretty cool. It's nice. It's growing fast, but it's allowed us to extend our reach also because now, listen, we're using social media, we're using the news, we're using radio, we're doing podcasts with other people's podcasts, and word of mouth is the biggest, obviously, because first responders, military, medical professionals, you text it to somebody, it's that instant trust. It's like, okay, I understand you're in the military, you're a first responder, whatever it may be. I'm going to trust you because you're saying that this is legit, right?
Yeah.
So, but having these other resources and other tools to get out there and really extend your message is gigantic. And what you're doing is such an incredible cause. I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before you really hit it and people understand why you're here and why you're doing this. I mean, I know I told you offline before we started. My wife used to do this. She used to send to an organization. She would buy care packages that they would send overseas, and the same thing. The military would send back whoever she sent it to would send back a picture and a note or whatever it may be. But the way you set it up, and I'd love to share it actually. Maybe I'll share my screen so I could show the users what you're doing. Let me see. While I'm doing this, why don't you tell us more about why you joined the military again? Not just because obviously you want to set an example for your family, right? Which is
Yes.
excellent. You want to be
That
that
is
leader.
actually a really big reason. I was
It's
worried about my
excellent.
little brother a lot.
That's awesome. And now he's in there.
Yep. Now he's in there.
So
Thank God.
how long has he been in now?
He's been in there about a year and a half now. Yeah, he's in Italy right now. Yeah, during this whole COVID thing, he actually did get COVID, and he luckily he got out of it. He's fine now. Oh, I
So
can't hear
there we go.
you.
So what's the website? It's spelled out for me so I can just type it in.
You could just go to if you go to Apple and you just type in Apple, you could just go to the Apple store and just type in support a troop.
Unfortunately, I use
Oh, it will
Dell.
pop up even if you have a Google Play, but you could also go to
Uh,
Google Play. It's all the same.
Okay, so support a troop. Is there okay? So I'm going to share the screen so you can see so our users can see the application on Google Play.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this share screen to work.
I don't know.
There we go.
I
All
just
right,
started
so
using Zoom.
you should be able to see my screen now. So this is Brandon's application right here, Support a Troop, and this is on the Google Play Store,
Yeah.
but it's also on the Apple Store. And this is incredible. I mean, what you're doing, you got great reviews, obviously, on it. A lot of nice reviews, but let's look at a picture. So now explain this as I'm showing pictures over here.
So if you want to support a troop, you could just create a profile. So that is what your profile will look like. That medallion in the corner, it shows a platinum donor. So we set it up because we notice a lot of troops are not getting donations. Not a lot of troops, but there's some troops that just they get overlooked, just like in any other platform. They get overlooked. So when they get overlooked, we set it up so if you want to become a monthly donor and give $1, give $10, give $25, you can, and then you'll get a medallion stating that that's what you do. And then when you send that, when the money comes out, we go buy that troop something. So we try to make sure all troops are necessarily getting support, even if they get overlooked.
And
this is I guess you would say a campaign. So you click on these profiles and it will give you a wish list items. So you click on that one that says Brandon, that little smiling dude. You click that and it will show his profile, and then you just press wish list. It will show his wish list, which it will show in the next screens. So you could choose a service member. You could also choose it by branch and things like that.
Oh, great. So basically right here, he's requesting that he wants new combat socks.
Yeah. So this is actually after a donation item was chosen, and you can view the message from the troop. It says keep track of your donations. So it just shows that you can keep track of your donations.
Let's see what else you got.
Okay, so here's the profile. Just that guy, yeah. So say you clicked on him. If you say you clicked on Brandon, and so now he pops up, and it'll say, "Oh, okay."
So it basically says, so it shows his picture. It has his where he's at right now, what branch he's in, how many followers he has, his wish list, and then it has like a little bio for him. So his is God bless America, land of the free, home of the brave. Been over here a year now, but hard, but wouldn't choose any other profession. Someone has to do it. If you could send anything from my list, that would be amazing. So this is great. I mean, listen, you set up like a crowdfunding platform for our military to just receive donations from their wish list, and this is really it's an incredible thing you're doing.
Yeah. So now they just yes, exactly. Thank you. So now when you
wish list,
it's just that, and then people could just purchase the item, and then the item just ships. Wow. And that's literally it. It's that simple. And then as soon as the item gets there, you'll get a notification, and then there's like certain items that are there. So like you'll get some.
Also, there's different. There's clothing, fitness, hygiene, snacks. It's basically anything.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's awesome.
We also try to get veteran companies we put veteran companies on the wish list item. So you're actually, when you're buying the item, you're not only supporting troops, you're also supporting veteran companies.
Excellent. No, that's great. There's so many veteran companies out there that are doing the right thing by our troops. But this is excellent. I'm happy I was able to share it with the people that are going to be watching, so they could see everything.
Thank you. This is like I think this is the first time I'm actually showing my face.
Oh yeah.
I saw that you guys did the link when you shared it, and you showed everyone else's face and mine logo, and I was like, oh, that's funny. He doesn't know what I look like.
I couldn't find your picture. I wasn't going to ask you, and I was like, you know what? I'll just use their logo for now.
I have a strange name. That's probably why.
No, that's good. So where do you see yourself with support a troop? Let's say 3 to 5 years from now.
In 3 to 5 years,
yeah.
I'm hoping like I'm like known by house name, just like there's just some organizations that you just know, like Adopt a Platoon, like that's popular organization. Like I kind of want to just be known in like almost every home, like any patriotic home, that that anybody could use it. And I want it. So I remember when I was deployed, people would share resources. Like as soon as you would get deployed, you'd sit in a room, a conference room, and they would talk. They'll tell you like, oh, these are all the rules. But then they'll also say after all the rules, by the way, if you want this, you could go here and they will help you out. Like you could send them a message. If you're someone facing any problems, you could send them a message. So I want to be known and get big enough where I could support a lot of people and people will come for the support, especially if they aren't necessarily getting it back home because maybe they had the family that I had.
Right.
I love my family. That's not what I meant. I meant like, you know what I mean? Like if you had the low income background or.
So have you been in the news anywhere?
No, I haven't. I literally just got back from Afghanistan. Like I'm fresh. And then I just started college. I'm in my first week. I'm a full-time student. I would love to be in the news. I don't even know how to do that.
We got to get you in touch with like Fox and Friends or something and get you on TV.
How do you do like I saw you guys in the news and I was like, how? Because I looked up your guys' organization. I was like, you guys are brand new and you're in the news already. I was like, how?
We've been in about 100 times.
100 times?
Yeah, but there's all different spectrums. You know, they go hand in hand with the campaigns. Basically what we're speaking about, you know, the people we're helping and why we're here. And the important thing is the why, right? Why do you exist? And that's what people want to hear and understand. So if that story matches to the network, I mean, listen, they'll pick it up. And what you're doing, you just got to reach out to them. It's going on their websites, on, you know, whatever local news station that is near you, or going on these national news stations and sending in a pitch and saying, listen, this is what we're doing. This is what I have. I'd love to get on the show and speak about it. And, you know, bothering them as much as possible until they catch on.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, I'm not sure if you have a LinkedIn profile, but LinkedIn is an excellent resource, and you can connect with a lot of reporters, a lot of people in the news, radio, and basically send them a message. Just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, it would be incredible for me to help spread our word cross country so other people can understand why we exist and why we're here, you know, to help our military. So it's a great thing. So I definitely recommend trying to get in touch with some media. I'll obviously do a little check if you want to send me exactly where you live, you know, via email. I'll try to help you out with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Florida right now. I will. Okay. Yeah, I need to make a LinkedIn. I was actually talking to we've actually been putting that in our notes, like our to-do list things. Yeah, I need to get on doing that. What's it like being on the news? Was it hard for you for the first time?
So I'm in a different scenario. I've been a detective, you know, for almost 15 years. So I've been in the news before that, you know, while on the job with the NYPD and doing stuff like that. So I was kind of accustomed to it. Listen, when you have a passion for something that you're doing and you understand it in and out, it's like the back of your hand. It's very easy. You know, it's going to roll off. Yeah, you're going to have that heart rate. You know, your heart's going to be pounding out of your chest. Like the first time we got on with Fox and Friends, it was a live episode with Fox and Friends. And when they come on the screen goes black and you don't see them. So you're like, do I talk now? And it was funny. It was myself, Kevin from our team, and Michael. And we're sitting there looking at the screen, and Brian Kilmeade comes over a speaker, and we didn't know if we were live, and I froze, and Michael freezes, Kevin freezes, and we're all like, are we supposed to talk right now? I don't know if we're supposed to talk. And I start stuttering, and then he's like, okay, we're going to go live in a moment. And they're like, oh God. And then they come on, they're like, we're live. So it's different. So that first time, I mean, a national show like that, I mean, that had 2 million viewers, you know.
I was saying, I was like, Fox gets a lot of views.
Yeah, it's a little different, but you know, we did a 3 or 4 minute segment with Meg Oliver on CBS This Morning on Thanksgiving morning. So that was great. But you know, the adrenaline rush is going to be there. You know, it'll be there your first couple of times. It's exciting. I mean, put it this way, in the military, you know, you're doing a raid, you know, you're doing something, that rush, it's basically the same rush, even though you're sitting still just talking to a camera.
And your heart's going.
Yeah, it's going. But once you start going, you relax, you know, and you get in the zone and you just start talking, and you know and understand exactly what your product is and why you're helping people. So, you know, it's going to roll off the tip of your tongue like nothing.
Okay, sweet. I worried about that a lot. So that's why I've been kind of waiting to contact them. I was like, maybe I should wait till my life calms down a little. I
No,
was
no,
like, but I should
listen,
just do it.
you have a working product. You built a beautiful application. You have a website. You have some social media out there. Get out there, start spreading the word. Definitely start spreading the word. You
Okay,
know,
well, I'll take all
it'll be
your
great.
advice. Thank you. I definitely need to make a LinkedIn too.
Yeah, LinkedIn's great because you'll connect with military professionals that are retired now and that are in big corporate positions. And you see in the military time and time again, there's people that move on to these giant corporate positions. You connect with them and you instantly have that connection. And I'll use one person for example, Blake Hall. Blake Hall was in the military and we connected with him not because of the military, it's because of what he's doing with ID.me. But we were able to have an instant relationship because we have military on our team. We're all first responders. So he understood exactly what we're going through. And that's why we built such an excellent partnership to verify everybody on our platform.
Yeah, that's
So
what's
it's
so
easy.
special about your platform. That was so cool through that process.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, I'm getting ID'd. I was like, they're really making
Yeah.
sure like I'm who I say I am.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I mean, you mentioned earlier in the show that you did a GoFundMe. I mean, any crowdfunding is great, but there's an issue. There's no real verification, right? So
Yep.
you could go on there and just say your XYZ and start raising money. And that's why we developed Fund the First, is to basically provide our users and mostly our donors. So donors know that the money is going to a verified and trusted source. So we don't just verify, we also vet all the campaigns to make sure they are truthful and honest.
I
So
actually had a big problem with that. That is, so
let's hear
when
it.
I used GoFundMe in the beginning, no one, so I'm sitting in Afghanistan to do this. Like I sent myself overseas again. Like I don't even want to be there. I was just like, when you were just passionate about something and you think you have like something that the world needs. So you just do whatever it takes. So I like literally sent myself overseas and I'm sitting in Afghanistan and people are accusing it as a scam because it just sounds, because I didn't have any photos yet. So there was no proof to like the pudding or to anything. Like, so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have to go buy people stuff. So I went and took my first paycheck and bought every single person the things that they wanted just so I could have photos to prove that this is what I'm trying to do. So then I had like only like 10% sent me photos back, but I had photos and then I put them on my campaign and then people started trusting it. But if there was just a process like the ID, I never would have had to do that because they would have already known that it was a real thing. So yeah, I struggled with that problem.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. It's the verification. Now, those same people, if that was verified from the get-go, they would have said, oh, okay, I'll donate to it. That's, we hear that time and time again, the story, the exact story that you heard, there's a serious problem with it.
It is.
Serious
There is.
problem.
There's actually that homeless guy. He wasn't a veteran or anything like that, but he was a homeless guy, and someone made a campaign for him on GoFundMe, and then took all his money.
$400,000.
Yep. Okay, you heard about it, yeah. I was like, that's insane.
We've heard about them all. Heard about them all. I mean, the reason we started this was because when I was in narcotics, one of my immediate supervisors, one of my closest friends, his daughter was going through a serious medical hardship. And I mentioned to him, and this was 3 years ago, let's use GoFundMe. He didn't want to, because of those exact reasons. He was afraid of putting up his daughter's picture and daughter's name and someone using her name as, to basically benefit off of their tragedy. And that's the last thing you want to see. And you see it time and time again, but that's why we have this verification model. And it's all about trust. Trust is everything, so no, that's thank you for giving that input with that.
No problem.
Appreciate
I
that.
love what you guys are doing. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's helping out a lot of people, helping out a lot. But I want to get to your campaign. I want to hope that some people start donating to it and visiting your website and helping out these troops overseas for, listen, small little things, whether it be a pillow, socks, candy, whatever it is, it's something and it's support. It lets them know that there's people overseas back home that care about them.
That's exactly, yes, that's exactly what it is. And I actually think there might be, I just want to bring up 22 veterans a day do kill themselves. And that's a huge number. And I don't know what's the psychosis or anything that happens, but I know when I got home, and I already came from a background like that was pretty bad. And then when I got home, I just felt like there was no one there supporting me. And I never really had an experience with anybody home supporting me. And then when I was a veteran, it seemed like no one really cared about what I did or anything. So I know, like, I feel like if I was overseas, and a lot of it came from also overseas, that's a big traumatic time for anybody. If anybody got sent to a country that's torn by war, it's just dramatic, kind of like it is. So I feel like that's a sensitive area. So if you send love during that time, then they might have that memory. So when they do get out of the Army, at least they always could relate it, like someone cares about me, or people do care.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it would have helped me out, definitely.
Yeah, would have lifted your spirits. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we run out of time, I just want to ask 2 questions that I normally ask, because this is the Heroes First podcast. So the first question, because you're in the military, if you were to do it all over again, would you join the military again, or would you join a different military, medical, or first responder designation, or would you go a separate route?
I would do it all over again. I think about this all the time.
Awesome.
I loved it. There was not a second I didn't. Now, there was times I didn't. There was definitely times where I was a salty soldier, but just like anybody else. But yeah, I loved it. I would do it all over again. I wouldn't be the person I am right now without it.
That's excellent.
And I don't think I would have. I don't know if my family would be the same either. Yeah, I love it. Like, yeah, I would do it all over again.
That's awesome. So the other question, the last question before we wrap things up. I know you've touched up on this maybe a little throughout the show, and we've been talking about it, but what exactly does a hero mean to you? How would you define a hero?
To me, a hero would be just someone who answers a calling to something that's unseen, but also like there to like you doing something selfless. So how do I explain this? So like a first responder, when they're going through their training, their worst day could literally been them losing their life, but they're doing it for others. Like, they could choose any field. Like, we don't get paid much. Soldiers don't get paid much. First responders don't get paid much. We get paid good, but we don't get paid to like the worst day ever. You're going to die. Like, and it's just, or you're going to see really crappy things that you don't want to see. And it's just, but someone has to do it. So I think it's not like a job. It's more of a calling. Like, I feel obligated to perform these duties for my community. So
that's perfect. That's perfect. Listen, Brandon, thank you for everything, for this show, for everything you're doing with supporting our troops overseas, your time in the military. Thank you for everything. I mean, listen, we have a campaign up on fundthefirst.com right now for your business to help out. We can visit your website to go over there and help out people overseas. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode and the second episode of Heroes First Podcast with Brandon Dutkiewicz. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Robert.
You've been listening to the Heroes First Podcast with Robert Garland. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. Make sure to like, rate, share, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to visit fundthefirst.com and follow us on social media at fundthefirst. See you next time.